April 25th, 2019, the New York Giants draft Duke quarterback Daniel Jones, hoping he'll follow in Eli Manning's legendary footsteps. Fast forward to year 4, Jones leads the Giants to a 9-7-1 season, a third-place finish in the NFC East, and their first playoff win since the 2011 Super Bowl. The future looked bright. Giants fans finally had some hope. But then, it all fell apart. Over the next 2 seasons, the team won just a combined 9 total games. Despite extending Jones in 2023, they released him midway through the 2024 season. To make matters worse, leading up to the 2024 season, their best player, Saquon Barkley, left for the division rival Philadelphia Eagles and had a monster season that culminated in a Super Bowl. With such a collapse, you'd expect major front office changes, right? Wrong. Brian Daboll and Schoen are still in charge. Now, with the 2025 NFL Draft quickly approaching, the Giants have massive decisions to make. Do they draft a QB, take a projected generational talent like Travis Hunter, or do they roll the dice in free agency and wait until 2026 to draft their franchise quarterback? One thing is certain. Time is running out. The Giants need answers, and fast. Their path to success might be a little bit closer than we think. In today's video, I'm breaking it all down. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see my prediction of who the Giants will take with the number 3 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. It might not be who you expect. All right, let's jump into it. Now, let's start off by addressing the elephant in the room. The real reason I believe the Giants have remained stuck at the bottom of the league for the past decade. And it's probably not what you'd expect. Patience. Now, what do I mean by that? The Giants have been too patient when it comes to personnel decisions. And to some extent, I get it. Growing up as a Giants fan, they were never projected as a top 10 team heading into a season. Not even in the years that they won the Super Bowl. They weren't flashy, they didn't dominate headlines, and they stuck with their core players even when it seemed questionable. But you can't fault them for it because this approach paid off, as they won the Super Bowl in 2007 and 2011. In my opinion, the problem here is that John Mara has continued down this same path, even when it no longer works. They stuck with Daniel Jones far longer than they probably should have. And they're holding on to Schoen and Brian Daboll despite disastrous performances outside of their first season at the helm. Let's be honest, almost any other franchise in the NFL would have fired Daboll, Schoen, or both of them by this point. The NFL has evolved significantly since the Giants last experienced true success. Today, it's a fast-paced, offensive-driven league where the best teams don't hesitate to move on from underperforming players and make bold moves to acquire top talent. Adaptability and aggressiveness define success in the modern NFL, something the Giants have been very reluctant to embrace. This year, however, they have no choice but to embrace that change. With a clean slate at quarterback and the number 3 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Giants have a chance to usher in a new era. But here's the thing, are they really in a position to draft their next franchise QB? If you ask me, I would say probably not. Both their offense and defense rank near the bottom of the league in 2024. And outside of Malik Nabers, who has shown superstar potential, there really aren't any true cornerstone players on the offense. Sure, Tyrone Tracy Jr. has shown some flashes of brilliance, and Wan'Dale Robinson has been a reliable slot receiver, but there simply aren't enough difference makers surrounding the quarterback at this point on this roster to set him up for success. If the Giants draft a QB now, he'll be stepping into an incredibly difficult situation. Instead, I'd rather see the Giants build a strong supporting cast first, then bring in their quarterback of the future when the offense is truly ready to help him thrive. Add to the fact that this NFL draft class is extremely shallow at the quarterback position, and the Giants situation becomes that much more complicated. On top of that, Brian Daboll and Schoen are undoubtedly on a short leash at this point. That puts them in a tough spot. They almost have to take a quarterback just to give the franchise some semblance of hope for the future. Instead of building a strong foundation first and then adding a QB, the Giants are being forced to do it in reverse. Why? Because if Schoen and Daboll don't show some real progress in 2025, they're going to be out of a job. So that really leaves the Giants with 3 options at the number 3 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, which could change everything for the franchise if they nail this pick. And I'm going to rank them all in order of least risky to most risky. The safest option, in my opinion, which a lot of people are not talking about right now, is drafting Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter. I think Carter is a lock to be a superstar in the NFL. Very similar skill set as Micah Parsons, and a prospect who could single-handedly set a defense up for years to come. Option 2, which is a little bit more risky, but still a very safe pick in my opinion, is to take Colorado wide receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter if he drops to the number 3 slot. Many NFL insiders and scouts consider Travis Hunter to be one of the best NFL prospects in recent history, and his ability to play both sides of the ball, while probably not sustainable in the NFL, just shows how talented of a player he truly is. The Giants really can't lose taking a guy like Travis Hunter. Now here's option 1, which I consider to be the riskiest option of them all, and ultimately what I think the Giants will actually end up doing. They take their next franchise QB in either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. Either whichever one falls to them, or choose the one they are most confident in if both are still available at number 3. The biggest risk with this approach is that the jury is still out on both Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. Unlike prospects like Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence, clear-cut number 1 picks with near universal confidence to be at least an above-average quarterback in the NFL, Sanders and Ward are far less certain. They both have high ceilings, but their floors are just as low, making them serious boom or bust type prospects. Meanwhile, prospects like Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter feel like much safer bets. Both are widely projected to be immediate impact players from day 1, making them far less risky selections. If the Giants do pass on a quarterback at number 3, reports suggest that they could target Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart in the 2nd round with the 34th overall pick. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this move. Jackson Dart reminds me too much of Daniel Jones. Decent potential, solid production, but ultimately a reach if you're looking for a true franchise quarterback. While he put up strong numbers at Ole Miss, I just don't love the idea of banking on him as the long-term answer for the franchise. That said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this actually happened. It just seems like a Giants thing to do. If it were up to me, I would have cleared house this offseason, fired Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, and started fresh with new leadership. That would give the organization time to build a roster the right way, rather than making desperate moves just to save jobs. I would take a safe impact player like Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, sign a veteran QB in free agency like Sam Darnold or Russell Wilson, and then make a move for a true franchise quarterback in next year's draft, one that is projected to have far more depth at the quarterback position. But what I think they'll do is either take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders in a last-ditch effort to find their guy and finally give the fan base some hope. Who knows? Either of these guys could be a franchise-altering talent, setting the Giants up for years of success. The potential is definitely there, but the risk, if they swing and miss on this pick, they're right back in quarterback purgatory, stuck trying to build around a quarterback who just simply isn't the answer, with no guarantee they'll have another shot at a top 3 pick anytime soon. Now, as always, I want to hear from you. Who do you think the Giants will take with the number 3 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft? If it were up to you, who would you pick? In a dream scenario, who do you want to see the Giants take at number 3 overall? Drop your thoughts and takes in the comments below. I read and respond to all the comments, and I love hearing what you all have to say. If you like this video, make sure you like the video and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And if you like this video, you'll definitely like my video on the Buffalo Bills, where I dive into what I think is the missing piece to their roster that could help them bring home their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Stick around and give it a watch. All you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now. I'll see you next time.